Those fancy features in modern cars might look innovative and helpful, but they're hiding an expensive secret that manufacturers don't want you to know about. While car companies are racing to add more technology to every new model, I've discovered how these innovations are actually designed to drain thousands from your wallet through repairs, subscriptions, and hidden costs. Today, we're exposing the 16 most problematic modern car features that are secretly making your car ownership a financial nightmare. Let me start with the first annoying feature that's causing huge problems. Those fancy touchscreens replacing all the buttons in new cars. You've seen them. Giant screens from Tesla, BMW, Mercedes. Even though brands like Mazda, Toyota, Honda, Citroën, and Hyundai still keep some physical controls for the important stuff. These huge screens make it really hard to focus on driving. In older cars, you could just reach out and turn a knob for heat without looking. But now you have to look at the screen, find the right menu, press several buttons, and then finally adjust the temperature. It's like trying to use your iPad while driving. Super dangerous and way more complicated than it needs to be. When these touchscreens fail, you're looking at over $1,000 for replacement. And unlike physical buttons, where if one breaks, the others still work, a broken touchscreen means all your controls are dead until you fix it. Plus, these touchscreens are slow to respond, you can't use them when wearing winter gloves, and trying to press buttons accurately while driving on rough roads is really tricky. The screen's brightness messes up your night vision, which is even worse if your eyes have trouble focusing. Even European safety agencies are starting to recommend physical buttons over touchscreens because of how dangerous this is getting. Some companies like GM are finding ways to mix touchscreens with physical controls. BMW's keeping their iDrive system, and Mercedes still gives you some real knobs to turn. They'll throw in voice commands, but try adjusting your seat heater with those, it's usually a mess. The second feature that's becoming a real headache is those electric tailgates. You've seen the commercials. Someone walks up to their SUV with hands full of groceries, waves their foot under the bumper, and magically the trunk opens. Looks convenient, right? Well, just ask Audi RS3 owners about their dance of shame, that awkward hopping around trying to get the sensor to work. These systems fail way more often than regular mechanical trunks. Failed sensors, burned out motors, broken control modules. Take Subaru's power tailgate. When that hydraulic piston fails, the tailgate can snap back with enough force to cause serious injury, especially to kids. And you can't even open them manually when they break. Even when they do work, they're not always practical. Mazda CX-5 owners will tell you their electric tailgate only works when the engine is off. And Ford F-150 owners are finding out that these power tailgates don't play nice with accessories like tonneau covers. The idea seems great for curbside pickups or when managing kids and groceries. But when you're standing there waiting for that slow motor while your neighbor with their manual tailgate is already loaded up and ready to go, it really makes you question if we're solving a problem that never existed. Moving on to the third problematic feature, those advanced driver assistance systems. Every new car commercial brags about their safety tech, lane departure warning, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring. But all those cameras and sensors are turning simple repairs into wallet-emptying nightmares. A basic windshield replacement that used to cost $300 now runs anywhere from $700 to $2,500 because of all the recalibration needed, with calibration alone costing around $250. These systems can actually create new safety hazards. Many drivers report lane assist systems trying to push them into parked cars or misreading road markings. The automatic braking systems are notorious for sudden, unexpected activations that can cause accidents themselves, especially on narrow or winding roads. Some people swear by these systems, especially for highway driving with adaptive cruise control. But do we really need all this expensive tech that's making us worse drivers? Many people are actually seeking out older, simpler cars to avoid these headaches. Let's talk about the fourth annoying feature, those excessive warning systems and alerts. Modern cars beep and ding at you for everything. Getting your car without a seatbelt? Beep, beep, beep. Doors slightly open? Ding, ding, ding. Low washer fluid? Another beep. It's like having an overprotective mom in your dashboard. Just last week, a customer brought in his new Toyota RAV4, going crazy because it wouldn't stop beeping about the passenger's seatbelt, even when he just put his grocery bag on the seat. These aren't just annoying, they're dangerous, because they distract you from actually focusing on driving. The fifth feature that's driving everyone crazy is that automatic start-stop system. You're sitting at a red light, engine stops, and many drivers experience frustrating delays when the engine restarts. It can be especially problematic when you need to pull out onto busy roads. One of the biggest complaints, the system turns off your air conditioning. Imagine sitting at a traffic light during a heat wave with hot air just circulating in your cabin. Some drivers have reported their engines staying off for over 3 minutes at stoplights. The system does save fuel, particularly when stops are longer than 6 to 7 seconds, with about 1 to 2 miles per gallon improvement. Despite common concerns, it doesn't actually damage your engine over time. Modern vehicles have more robust starters to handle these frequent start-stop cycles. The most frustrating part? Newer vehicles often don't give you the option to permanently disable this feature. You have to manually turn it off every time you start the car. Hybrid vehicles tend to manage the feature more smoothly since they can use their electric motors for restart, unlike traditional engines that shudder back to life. The sixth annoying feature is electronic shifters. Remember when shifting gears was simple? Just a mechanical shifter, nothing fancy. But now, we've got buttons, dials, and weird joysticks everywhere. Look at the new BMWs, Mercedes, that weird dial thing in Chryslers. Car guys hate these because they overcomplicate something that used to be straightforward. Every manufacturer does it differently too. Some people have even gotten hurt because of accidental shifts. There have been actual fatalities. When these electronic shifters break, you're absolutely screwed. Just had a customer's BMW stuck in park because the shifter module died. Couldn't even get it out of their garage. The damage? $800 just for parts. A traditional shifter? Maybe $20 for a cable. Some people do get used to these systems after a few weeks and they free up some space for cup holders and storage. But even with all these fancy safety features like needing your foot on the brake to shift or auto shifting to park when you turn off the car, most drivers still want their old school shifters back. And speaking of transmission problems, let me tell you about Dualclutch transmissions. Car companies love advertising them. Lightning fast shifts, sports car technology. What they don't tell you is how these things behave in regular traffic. They jerk, they stutter, they clunk around at low speeds, especially in economy cars, where DCTs are completely mismatched. You've got two types, wet clutch and dry clutch DCTs. The wet ones, like VW's DSG, at least try to be reliable because they're submerged in oil. But those dry clutch systems are cheaper, can't handle as much power, and are notorious for rough shifts and chattering clutches. Just look at Ford's power shift disaster and Chrysler's mess in the Dodge Dart. Even BMW's DCT gets slammed for terrible low-speed performance, and these issues get worse in cold, moist climates. The only ones who seem to get it right are high-end manufacturers like Porsche with their PDK system. Moving on to the eighth problematic feature, these modern lighting systems. Those fancy LED and adaptive headlights look amazing in the showroom, but wait until one burns out. You can't just pop in a new bulb anymore, you need to replace the entire headlight assembly. When they fail, you're looking at costs as high as $2,500 per headlight assembly, compared to a regular halogen bulb at $15. Those adaptive headlights that turn with your steering have more motors and sensors, more parts to break. Their effectiveness is hit or miss. Some drivers say they work well in rural areas with poor lighting, but in cities with streetlights they barely make a difference. Have you noticed how blindingly bright these LEDs are to oncoming traffic? The blue light they emit isn't just disruptive, it's harmful to the eyes. Drivers are constantly flashing their high beams at each other, thinking someone's high beams are on when it's just overly bright regular LEDs. This issue is worse in the US, where outdated regulations force manufacturers to compensate by making low beams excessively bright. The ninth feature might be the worst yet, subscription-based features. Car companies are now making you pay monthly fees for things you already bought. Want to use your heated seats? BMW's charging a monthly subscription. Remote start? GMC requires a monthly fee. Faster acceleration? Mercedes is charging $1,200 annually. This creates massive concerns about resale value. If you buy a used car, you might find certain features locked because the previous owner's subscription expired. We're talking about hardware physically installed in your $80,000 plus vehicle that you can't use without paying extra. Some tech-savvy owners have considered bypassing these systems, but modern cars are so interconnected that trying to isolate wires or add manual switches could damage your vehicle or void your warranty. The 10th feature is cylinder deactivation. Imagine you've got an 8-cylinder engine and this system shuts off 4 cylinders to save gas. Different manufacturers do this in fascinating ways. Audi uses sliding camshafts that disengage cam lobes from rocker arms, while GM uses special lifters that can be unlocked, letting the camshaft push without moving the valve. Honda takes a different approach, simply stopping fuel injection to deactivate cylinders, which helps prevent damage from uneven cooling. But here's the real deal. I've worked on hundreds of these engines, and they save you maybe 1 mile per gallon. That's why some manufacturers like Mazda have dropped this feature, deciding the added complexity wasn't worth it. The system creates temperature differences inside your engine, which can lead to misalignment and increased oil burning because of looser piston seal tolerances used to meet emissions standards. These systems constantly make split-second decisions about when to switch modes based on speed, load conditions, and driving pattern. Try to force it into 4-cylinder mode when your engine's under heavy load, you'll actually burn more gas, not less. The 11th feature causing nightmares is tiny turbo engines. Ferrari dropped their V8 for a V6, Lamborghini Temerario switched to a V8, and regular cars are going from V6 to tiny 4 cylinders. Car companies claimed these small turbo engines give you big engine power with small engine fuel economy, but that's not happening in the real world. Turbos use exhaust gases to spin a turbine at extreme speeds, forcing more air into the engine, but that turbo spins at 150,000 RPM, creating massive heat, and the tiny engine works way harder than it should to move your heavy car. According to Consumer Reports, these downsized turbo engines are slower and less fuel efficient than bigger non-turbo competitors. The real-world fuel economy was up to 35% worse than manufacturers claimed. These turbo engines need perfect air-to-fuel ratios and run much richer fuel mixtures to prevent detonation. The extreme heat from the turbo breaks down oil faster, and you've got complex systems like intercoolers, wastegates, and fancy crankcase ventilation because of blow-by issues. Feature 12. Huge panoramic sunroofs. Some owners report cabin temperatures shooting past 114 degrees Fahrenheit just from parking in the sun. Your AC has to work overtime, increasing energy consumption and reducing EV range. Even with UV tinting, you're getting excessive exposure, and the glare can be seriously annoying. These sunroofs add weight to your car, reduce headroom, and repairs aren't cheap. We're talking potential leaks, squeaking, and rattling, especially if drain tubes get clogged. Some manufacturers don't provide proper OEM sunshades, leaving you to deal with that greenhouse effect day after day. Feature 13. Run-flat tires and massive wheels. Run-flat tires let you drive up to 50 miles after a puncture, but J.D. Power studies show owners consistently report lower satisfaction. In the first year, 10% of run-flat owners had to replace at least one tire, compared to only 7% for regular tire owners. By year 2, those numbers jumped to 27% for run-flats versus 16% for standard tires. Run-flats have stiff sidewalls that lead to a noticeably rougher ride. Many drivers describe it as riding on wooden wheels. The increased road noise is so bad that some drivers use foam earplugs during long trips. These tires are also heavier, impacting fuel efficiency and performance. Run-flats are substantially more expensive, often costing around $1,200 for a set, compared to $500 to $600 for regular tires. They typically can't be repaired. Even a simple puncture means replacing the entire tire. Many tire shops won't attempt repairs due to liability concerns. Feature 14. Keyless entry and push-button start systems. With a regular key, you know exactly when your car is on or off. With keyless cars, many people walk away while they're still running, especially electric cars since they're so quiet. Thieves use signal boosters to grab your key's signal, even from inside your house, forcing some owners to keep keys in special signal bleaking pouches. These systems can stop working for numerous reasons, unlike physical keys that only break if physically damaged. Every car brand implements them differently too. Some require pushing and holding the button, others just need a quick tap. Feature 15. Fancy pop-out door handles. These come in retractable ones that extend straight out and push handles that you press. One side to make a grip. In cold weather, the mechanisms freeze up. The electronic poppers and solenoids fail. On the Mercedes S-Class, users report the handles work only 20% of the time. The Kia EV6's handles don't pop out automatically. You have to push to reveal, then pull to open. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 originally had auto pop-out handles in premium and ultimate trims, but later removed them from UK models due to supply constraints. Some Tesla models don't even have mechanical backup systems if the battery dies. When they break, you're looking at replacing entire electronic systems, not just a simple handle. First responders need special training to access these cars in emergencies. Parents struggle with kids who can't figure them out. The elderly and disabled find them particularly challenging. Feature 16. Modern cars without dipsticks. The 2025 Ram 1500, newer BMW models and others have replaced traditional dipsticks with digital displays and sensors. These electronic sensors can fail without showing warning lights. In BMWs, owners must wait until the engine reaches a specific temperature just to check oil levels. What's worse, the display only shows how much oil is missing, not the total amount. Technicians have seen cases where sensor failures led to oil overfilling, causing serious engine damage. Manufacturers save about $12 per car by removing the dipstick. Modern cars also come with sealed transmissions marketed as having lifetime fluid, but lifetime usually just means the warranty period. Real mechanics recommend changing transmission fluid every 40 to 50,000 miles. All these fancy features are destroying resale value. Insurance companies charge 20 to 30% more for these high-tech cars because repairs cost a fortune. Cars can lose half their value just because one or two systems failed. So what's the solution? Here's my advice. When you're buying a new car, keep it simple. Look for models with regular mechanical controls instead of electronic everything. Basic backup cameras and Bluetooth, these actually work well. Standard key systems instead of fancy keyless entry. Physical buttons for climate control and radio in traditional transmissions instead of dual clutch units. If you've dealt with any of these problematic features or have repair bills that made your jaw drop, drop them in the comments below. I'm especially interested in hearing about features I might have missed or repair costs that shocked you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on more money-saving car advice. I will see you in the next video.